Good evening, everyone. Surprise, surprise, surprise. We're suddenly live for a live quick talk when right now. Even Kelly doesn't know about it. She's running frantically all over the place right now. And, that of course is my usual impish nature. So, hi, how are you doing? What a beautiful day. Our day started with I actually slept in until a little bit after 6 this morning. It was actually quite wonderful. In the summertime, that doesn't happen to me. I am totally connected to the natural pattern of day and night. So, and I have a really strange question for anyone while we're on the subject, and I have to do this while I remember, but I could swear that the sun is rising and setting a little further north in the east and setting a little further north in the west. And we've been living in the same spot for 6 years, and it seems to have changed. It really does. Maybe I'm just crazy. I'm not sure. Anyways, so why are we here? Well, I'm not here to harp on the beautiful day we had, although I will speak about that briefly. First of all, as always, let me express my love for each and every one of you. No matter what's going on, you're perfect right now. And what's happening right now is actually perfect. And it's offering you the perfect opportunity to grow and evolve and learn more about your own personal power and the truth of who and what you are. So we're going to talk about and this came about. I spent 10 minutes writing a long post, and I attached a picture that had come up in another post, and I went to hit the post button. That's a lot of posts, and I can make a fence. And we're experiencing technical difficulties. Try again later, and my post disappeared. Like I could remember a single word of what I had just written. So I kind of threw my hands up and said, forget it. It's a lot easier just to get in a video and sort of get back into that frame of mind and then drop the mind. And, I think of the frame of mind as just that. It's a frame with a big empty space in the middle. And in that empty space is whatever spirit wishes to impress upon me, and I frame it in as best as I can. And Louisa, I see your post there. You're not late. This was a total surprise. Um, I didn't know I was going to be here. Kelly didn't know at all. And if you knew, then I want to know what you know, because I don't know. Do you know? So we truly did have a beautiful day on the lake. It's amazing to be out in nature, but we're really talking about this picture that I have to show you, and this is a lot of fun. So we're gonna get going on this right away. So here was the post picture. This human costume is becoming old and boring. And of course, we have the picture of what appears to be a castrated male taking off what appears to be a worn out skin suit. A bunch of shivering cucumbers is really what we are when you think about it, all water and mostly afraid all the time. Uh, the funny thing about this post is that it struck a chord with me. While we were out there today, I have such a rapport with creatures in nature that, and I was teaching Kelly a little bit about that today in the way she was interacting with nature around her, and it's always so wonderful to have the trust of another consciousness, another part of creative consciousness, another part of that divine consciousness that's resident there in that mom duck. And for her children to play literally on and at my feet, to have them try to take little nibbles out of my skin and yank a little bit of hair that grows out of my toes. It is such a magical experience because you if you're consciously aware and you're paying attention to it, you see that it isn't my consciousness and its consciousness recognizing each other. It's that divine spark, which is always recognizing itself. And when we get ourselves in the way, we offer ourselves the opportunity for that true communion to occur again. And it is amazing. You know, spending the day out on the lake, full of wind, full of breeze, I'm enlivened. I wouldn't give up my skin suit for anything right now. Well, maybe that's not true. If I could trade it in for a little younger model, maybe, I don't know. I'm pretty happy with this one, to be honest with you. It's been serving me pretty well, minus the teeth, the bullet holes, the knife wounds, the death experiences, the broken spine. The rest of it's really good. The point is this is our future. Our future, and we should keep this in mind in every day. We are literally a costume. We chose, I chose this costume. I chose to manifest on this mortal coil in this play we call Garen's Life as this costume. This costume is getting old. But you know what? Kelly will tell you, when it comes to this costume, it is by no means boring. It isn't. And I don't really care if it's getting old. I don't, because every experience is offering me something. But this is where we're going. We're going to shed this one day, and you don't have to wait to shed it when you die. And on just one point about the human costume becoming boring, there is a point I'd like to make about this, and I'm putting this into the human consciousness quite regularly. Kelly will tell you, and I'd like to add all of you to that. I think human beings really need a third retractable arm. I mean, let's be honest. If we're talking about the human costume being old and boring, how many times have you wished for a third arm? Not one that's always there, because then you got to get new clothes, and they got to make clothes with 3 arms, and which side does your arm come out on? It could be a real mess. But if you had a third retractable arm, maybe dead center in your chest, you could just pull open your shirt like Superman, and out would come a third arm, hand with it, and you could use it to open the door when you're holding too many groceries. Life would be grand. That would improve upon that boring. Okay, enough of this segue. Please think about that. Put it out there in the human consciousness. Start manifesting babies with a third retractable arm. It'll be good for all of us all the way around. Might even be able to drive better. Certainly wouldn't be an issue with people I've seen texting and keeping their hand on the wheel then. That'd be nice to see. Back to shedding this human costume. You don't have to wait till you die to shed the human costume, because and please don't try and rip your own skin off, okay? It is not fun. Don't ask me how I know that. What was I saying? No. What we're really talking about here is shedding our connection to the illusion. Being willing to look past the illusion and realize that we're literally this all-powerful, eternal, divine consciousness, that this glowing being of light and pure love manifesting in a human costume. And you don't have to wait. Whenever I go into the nature, I shrug that human costume off, and it stays in the car. That doesn't mean I walk down to the beach sans skin. What it means is I leave myself behind. When I'm out in nature, I am communing with all of her. I become part of her. I give myself to her. I get absorbed in her. And the experience, as all those absorptive experiences into that oneness, moves me to tears. It really does. This is what's offered all of us all the time. And this is what we're talking about right now. This human costume. You can begin to shed it today. That doesn't mean you take it off. That doesn't mean you stop paying attention to your human costume. That doesn't mean that you don't look after yourself as best as you can. What it means is you stop engaging in the practices when you understand that it's just a costume. No matter what you think is going on, and no matter what someone says about the way you look or how you choose to act or whatever, this is a costume. It's a costume you chose for the play that you call your life. And we're all on this grand stage. And you don't have to wait to die to begin shedding it. You can begin to shed the things that are attached to the costume. You see, the problem is we put the costume on and then we forget that we're wearing a costume. Really, we lose where the damn zipper is. Can you imagine if this costume didn't have a way for us to go to the bathroom without taking it off? And you couldn't find the zipper? It'd be like when you were 5 years old and you just got your entire snowsuit, boots, mitts, the scarf wrapped around so tight and all the way up so you have a little slit to peek through, and you step outside the door and you realize you have to go pee. How many of you have done that? I know I've done it on more than one occasion. Luckily, if you're wearing a swimsuit and as I usually do, and not a swimsuit, but a full body neoprene suit, a lightweight one, you just have to walk into the water. Begin to shed this costume right now. Shed the overwhelming seriousness of your journey here. The idea that you've got to do everything so right. It's just a play. You're here to play multiple roles, but they're all just part of the costume. They're all part of that experience, and it is a blessed gift of an experience. It is sheer joy to be here, even in the pain and suffering that I experience myself still. There's always something to be grateful for. Shedding the costume is about realizing what you truly are, realizing the source of your own power, and always be willing to turn to that inner source. You notice where this is on the screen, right? The being is the inner source. Now, in truth, what you really are is manifesting everything, the glowing being and the costume. But this is a convenient reference. Looking within is where the light and love pours from. There's nowhere else you need to go to find it. You are this light and love. You are all of those things that you've ever looked for. You've just covered them up. Like I mentioned in that post today, I'm trying to rub the dust off the lens of Kelly in certain ways, and no, that isn't some sort of strange sexual innuendo. There's nothing boring about the costume you're wearing. There's nothing old about it. It was perfectly designed by you for this life, for this play, for this role. Be at peace with yourself and go ahead and change the costume. Maybe I should add to that figuratively for now, okay? Like that doesn't mean take yourself out so you can get a new costume. But here's the deal. You're gonna come back here. You're gonna take on a new costume. You're gonna experience this over and over again. So, if your idea is that you want out and you never want to come back, that's your ego talking. That which you truly are, this glowing being right in front of you, is you. Go ahead and stand there in the mirror in the morning or at night and mentally, figuratively take the costume off. Just allow yourself to be that glowing being of light that is you. And soon over time, the costume becomes transparent. And all everyone sees is that love and light. Right? Well, maybe not everybody, but anyone with eyes to see and ears to hear. That's it. That's all. I don't want to keep you tonight. I just want to relay a little love, a little light, and a reminder that you need a third arm. Much love. We'll talk again very soon.